I'm Alli. I came out after 20 years of marriage, and I have 3 kids.
I'm Melisa, and I have 2 kids, and I came out at 37 after an 11-year marriage.
This podcast is about coming out later and the struggles and victories that come with it.
When coming out feels like the end of the world, but it's really just the beginning.
This is the Lesbian Chronicles. Welcome to the Lesbian Chronicles at the nail salon. Live at the nail salon.
Welcome to my nail salon. I've been wanting to paint my nails all day, and I haven't had time, and now is the time. So.
Now is the time. Here we are. Do you know I got my nails done today as well?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and then I ran into, you sit down to relax, and then right next to me ends up being a woman from my old neighborhood.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, and she's like, hey, oh my God, we were so sad to see you guys go. I heard about what happened, and I'm like, oh God, now I have to like...
she said I heard about what happened?
Well, just like I heard that the news,
divorce,
the
full...
Not divorce, but I heard you guys broke up. I heard you moved.
Oh, that neighborhood.
Yes.
I'm thinking the past.
No. This, just what happened.
Oh,
She's like, I heard, I'm so sorry, but anyway, whatever. But then I'm like, God damn it. Now I'm trying to relax into my chair, and I gotta do a whole dog and pony show with her.
There's something about though too hearing someone say I heard the story.
I know. It's how did you hear?
How did you hear? Who's talking to you about this?
Yep.
And what did they say?
Right. Oh. Yeah, I would have dug into that, but then we were talking over another woman. So I thought, you know what?
That woman in the middle is like,
please keep talking. Please.
Yeah. Keep talking. What? What did I stumble into?
Or she's like, yeah, what happened? Anyway, it's fine. It's fine.
That's kind of what our Uber driver was saying the other week as she listened to us all talk as we went to the High Museum.
Yeah. She's like, wow.
We're interesting.
Interesting or shocking?
I think a bit of both.
Right. Well, so I sent you that clip, and we thought we would play this little clip about divorce that my therapist actually told me 6 years ago. And then I heard it again. So it made me kind of think about how I think this is just a good reminder for people getting divorced who have children. Because it definitely, when my therapist said it back then, it gave me so much peace.
Refresh what your therapist said.
Yeah, so my therapist had said when we were getting divorced, to Chris and I was so worried about, oh my God, we're fucking up these kids. Now they're going to have a broken home.
Yeah.
And this isn't the dream. And the therapist said that there is no evidence that kids of divorce are any different than kids that parents stayed together. The only determining factor is if there's a contentious divorce where there's infighting between the parents. And she said that is where the research shows that kids have after effects. But other than that, if you have 2 people that get divorced, they have a great relationship, they go on to marry other people. If you study those adult children, study the other children, there is no difference.
I believe that 100%.
And so I remember thinking wow, that gave me so much peace because that was my thing. As I said to Chris, not only am I terrified of losing you, but I'm so scared, the kids are going to be forever kind of damaged by this, or they're not going to go out and pick partners.
Right.
And so anyway, that made me feel so good. So when I saw that Instagram thing from the other therapist and shared it with you, obviously it resonated with you too.
Yeah, absolutely. Because that was a big fear of mine. I'm like, this is going to mess my kids up.
Yeah.
Because that's what we've heard our whole lives.
Well, and don't you remember, back in the day, I remember it was the early 90s. I'm in this Catholic school, and one of the girls' parents got divorced, and it was hot topic central of poor Emily Taylor's mom and dad got divorced. My parents, when I got home, would be like, we're praying for Emily.
Oh my God.
It was this awful thing.
And meanwhile, who knows what environment Emily was living in prior to that.
But Emily did seem really sad and really I
mean, it is sad. I don't think there's a kid in the world that is excited when their parents, they want their parents to get along and love each other, And I think sometimes the way to do that is to get divorced.
For sure.
And I've always made it a point to never speak negatively about him. I mean, I don't have anything bad to say about him anyway, but I would never say that in front of my kids.
Never.
You know, like
if anything, like I'm propping him up.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Yeah.
Say really good things about him. Like, oh yeah, he's really funny. You know, like the kids have also started to ask more about like when we met and like what our wedding was like and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And so I talk about that and how it was really great when we met, you know, it was exciting and we just kind of knew and we got along really well and all that stuff. So I think doing all of that is, you know, it just helps them to see what the truth is and what the reality is.
And you want them to see a marriage that's, somebody posted something about, I forget, Christy Brinkley was talking about her father. And she was saying that like her most memories of him are his arms around her mother.
Oh, wow.
And like, I thought that was so beautiful because I too feel that way. My parents are deeply in love and there's like a constant connection with them. Yeah. They're like always connected, always talking. Like they share a cell phone. I mean, they're very, very
cracks
connected.
Me up.
And I don't know, that to me is like, I want my children to know what that looks like.
Yeah. I know. And that was a big reason why I actually did get a divorce because I was like, I'm not like, when they see me kind of cringe if he's giving me a hug.
I know. It's like what? You're a monster.
Right. Like, what kind of asshole was I going to look like all this time?
My mom's so cold.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, so let's play this soundbite.
Okay.
Where they did a long-term study of children of divorce when they became adults. What they found was that it wasn't divorce that screwed kids up. It was parental conflict that screwed kids up. And parental conflict happens to correlate with divorce a lot of the time because people who don't get along tend to get divorced.
But not always.
But not always. There's people who are like, oh no, we're married, we're staying married, but we fucking hate each other. And then there are people that split up and they have tremendous love for each other and they tell their children, listen, mom and dad don't love each other in the very special way that married people are supposed to, but we both love you and everything's going to be okay and we'll always be a family. And those kids grow up to be pretty well adjusted. They don't have a lot of those second order effects that you see in kids that are raised in this environment of terrible conflict, which, by the way, sometimes marriage exacerbates in the worst possible way. If you really care about your kids, there should be a tremendous amount of respect for your co-parent, even when you disagree with them.
I think you telling me that really helped. Like when I first heard you say that all those years ago, it's like, gosh, you're right. Like what's really going to fuck up my kids is them seeing, like I said, me not be affectionate with him, me be completely checked out because I'm wrecked over this whole thing.
Right. Or angry and carrying on.
Yeah.
Like I think that was something, well, we do it now. I mean, Chris is known as like the fix-it, can do anything. I'm not. Like the kids make fun of me. They're like, we got to call dad because mom's going to have no idea what to do. And I'm like, of course, I call dad too. Right. We all call dad. So, I mean, to me, it's like the more you build this person up, first of all, the better you look, but also the better in their eyes he looks. And that's their dad. Like I want them to think they have the best dad. For their own confidence.
And it takes a good dad, both parents, to be able to pull this off. That's for sure. I mean, it takes a level of maturity to get to this state where you both are able to act that way. And I think a lot of people can't do that.
I know. I think about the grace that Chris showed early on. And I don't know that I would have.
Yeah.
Like I've said that to him. Like I admire, he was mad for a minute. And then he was like, I love you. I've always loved you. I'm going to be your cheerleader. Like you have me and don't worry about the fallout. Like I'm still here. And he still is.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like to me, there's something beautiful about that. I mean, I was just in New York with the kids and Chris said, let me pick you guys up. I get off the escalator, headed to baggage claim to get my stuff. And Chris is like there at the top of the escalator with like bear hugs ready. Like I was so excited for you guys to get back.
Oh.
And it's just like, that's solid.
Yeah.
Like he did the harder thing to park, walk in, do the whole thing. But I think the kids see that and they're like, this guy loves mom so much and he loves us so much.
Yeah, that's right. It's like a reflection of how much he loves them.
Yeah, totally.
So, I will say, too, that I've kind of realized that my parenting, I think, is better.
Yeah.
Being divorced.
Okay.
Which is shocking, like, really, to think about.
So?
Because I'm doing so much on my own. Like, how is that better or easier or whatever? But it's like, because I don't have like another party there to like kind of judge what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know, I can really talk to them openly about anything.
Yeah.
And I don't have to like have like looks from him. And then this is making a broad assumption that he would be doing this.
Right.
But I was just thinking about how I really talk to them a lot about the like trans people, gay people, just things happening in the world,
right,
and explaining to them these things just to kind of like help them understand of a lot of the ins and outs of the world.
Right.
And I'm sure that some stuff he would probably be like, they're too young.
I know Chris used to say that.
Don't talk to them.
Or it wouldn't even, or I would scare them with like, you better be careful. Someone's going to grab you.
I mean, it is the news junkie in me that is like, well, this one
time they took fentanyl.
Like, right. Yeah. I'm like, do not take any pills that are not prescribed, that did not come from the drugstore. Yeah. I do kind of scare them, but it is nice to like be able to parent and have those conversations without someone like looking over your shoulder.
For sure. I definitely agree. I think to that observation of like now that I'm freshly on my own, like I haven't lived by myself in a long time, but now I've probably been here a few weeks. I'm doing it. But I do think about now, like there are some things that I'm like, I can't believe I've evolved to do. Well, even like making stuff like, you remember the first night I hosted something before Maria and I broke up? And I was like nervous and I had you guys come early. Yeah. It's like now it just feels more natural. Like I'm not stressed. I don't know. There's something about kind of living on your own that I am seeing I'm growing up.
Yeah. Well, also new is scary.
New is scary.
Every time.
Yeah.
Like I definitely saw that this week with Kaylin starting middle school.
Yeah.
You know, leading up to it. And this is a confident kid.
Yeah.
She's cool. She's got it together. But she was definitely like feeling some kind of way leading up to this.
Yeah.
And thankfully the middle school did this like little boot camp kind of thing for them where they got to go like last week and kind of
vibe check.
Yeah. Like meet some of the teachers, see around the school, like be shown around, learn how to use the lockers, see how the classes work and all that stuff. So she had a little bit, you know, in her back pocket there, but still like the night before she's like, I feel anxious. Like this is a lot. And I was like, listen, the next 24 hours, like 24 hours from now, you're going to feel great.
Yeah.
Okay. You're going to have it over with. And you never have to experience this newness of this moment again.
Did she?
And yeah, I just talked to her driving up here and I was like, how do you feel after your first week? And she's like, awesome.
Oh,
she was like, it was great. I love it.
Okay, good.
So it's just like that. It was scary because it was new. Yeah. It's different. And I have felt this so many times in my life. You know, I relate 100% to her going into middle school and how that felt weird. High school, college, starting new jobs. Yeah. All of those things feel scary as fuck.
Yeah. It's
but
anxiety
you get used
inducing.
to it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you just got to get over the fucking hump and it'll be okay.
It's so true.
It's really, like you've said, you get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Get comfortable being uncomfortable and do 5 seconds of courage.
And it's temporary.
Yeah.
It is temporary. Like when I started my job right out of college in Panama City, I didn't know shit.
Yeah.
I did not know what I was doing. And I was supposed to be a TV reporter
yeah.
on television.
Make it up.
Live.
Right.
And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like I literally don't know what I'm doing.
Right.
I didn't pay attention to this part when I was in college.
Yeah.
I didn't think I was going to be a reporter.
Right.
And I spent that first like 3 months feeling like I was going to like vomit daily.
Yeah.
But I got through it.
Right.
And when I left that job, I cried.
Yeah. You loved it so much.
Like, yeah. I was like really actually sad to be leaving this job and leaving those people. And I was like, what are these emotions coming from? Like, you know, that part where the Grinch suddenly has feelings. That was me. And I thought I was like so ready to dip out of that place. But then I was like, oh, no, wait. Like I actually formed really good memories here. Right. And I learned a lot.
Don't you also start to think like, sometimes I think like my perspective of how people perceive me, like a lot of times it's like we put so much weight in, oh my God, I'm so nervous, or oh my God, this thing is happening. But the truth is like nobody fucking knows what they're doing.
Yes.
Nobody knows what they're doing. Like I'm in business and I meet people that should be the expert in their field. They're fucking up and making shit up too. Mm-hmm. Like as I am.
Yeah.
So it's like, I also feel like the really successful people just go out on a limb and then they just do it.
You just gotta jump.
Yeah, you jump. And if you screw it up, well, oh well. I learned
you might break your leg.
Yeah.
You know, but you can get that fixed.
Yeah.
It'll heal.
Right. So I think the more scary thing would be just going along because you're too afraid,
you're too scared
to do the thing, which brings me to the other thing that I sent you today. Well, why am I sending you all this shit?
I don't know, but
the thing I sent you about getting off the train.
Oh, that's right.
That I bet a lot of people saw because I actually saw it twice today.
Oh, that was a text message. I'm pulling up Instagram.
Okay, like if you read it because
so
it'll be better.
Someone once said, if you get on the wrong train, be sure to get off at the first stop. The longer you stay on, the more expensive the return trip is going to cost you. And then it says they weren't talking about trains.
No, they're not talking about trains. And it's like, it's so true. The more you just sit knowing something's wrong on autopilot, going more stops. Now you're 10 miles, 20 miles outside the city. You got to get back. And it's like, if you know you're on the wrong train, get off the train.
Right.
And you know when you are.
It does make it so much worse.
I know it does.
But drag it out.
Right. You keep making excuses. You keep thinking it's going to get better. You keep inside. Like, I do think if you get quiet, like, you know.
Yeah. There's so many things going on inside of your head sometimes. And you're right. It's like you can distract yourself with all the things so you don't really think about it. But if you get quiet and you really think about it, like, you'll process stuff way faster.
It's so true.
And it also is important to think about how it's impacting other people in the meantime.
Yes, the kids, the husband,
the
girlfriend.
Whatever you're going through. Like,
right.
I've been on both sides of where I should have ended a relationship way sooner than I did, way sooner than I had the fucking balls to do. And then I've been on the other side where the person should have ended the relationship way before they did. And it sucks.
Right.
Being on that wrong train really fucking sucks.
I know, because it is more expensive to come back.
It is more expensive because it takes you longer to bounce back.
It absolutely does. You've made more friends together. You've accumulated more conflict together. Like, there's so much that
the
piles
resentment
up.
builds. Like, I mean, you're losing a friend in the process in a lot of that time, you know? Like, if you don't have the balls to say it, you're going to drag this person along the side of the fucking train, getting beat up.
Right.
When you let go of them, they're not going to be your fucking friend anymore.
No. So it's like, if you just have the courage to do it when you know. And the truth is, like, let's say, okay, the monster is that, okay, I'm going to get off the train and I shouldn't have gotten off the train. I should have stayed on the train. If it's right,
you can get back on.
Get back on. Train. Get back on if it's right.
Yeah. The train's going to turn around and come back.
Exactly.
It's on a loop. Okay.
It's on a loop. And so I do think, like, you hear about those stories where people, they find each other again.
Absolutely.
And when they've grown up.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's things I've learned just in the last few weeks. I think about, like, Maria and she used to do everything for, like, if we had dinner parties. It was like she almost, like, left me on the sideline. She really didn't want me helping, but I really didn't help that much. The air conditioning, I always, like, we spent a fortune because I would keep it so cold.
Oh,
or
God.
like the kids taking these astronomical showers. I mean, I just was kind of like, whatever.
Yeah.
But I realized, like, these are, like, minor things, but it's like when you start to be on your own, you're like, wow, God, I was annoying. In some way.
When you're suddenly paying that bill all by your lonesome.
Well, I'm just sort of like, there are things I was annoying about. Like, I think about now, even like when I clean up or like the dishes, I don't know. Like, I have a new perspective. Watering the plants.
Notice this. It took me, I'm probably going to reveal how annoying I was to be married to.
Yeah.
But I have noticed that things will, like, stay on the kitchen table for, like, weeks.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who's going to move that?
Exactly.
And then I'm like,
I guess I am
fucking adult here. I'm the one that has to move it and put it away.
That's
It's not going to move itself.
And so I do wonder, like, I think there are things that I wasn't amazing. I was not, of course, nobody's perfect, but I'm seeing them firsthand now, what my stuff was.
Well, and you never have really lived alone,
no,
right?
Never.
Like,
I mean, I lived alone for a month, maybe. 2 months.
You guys met in college, right?
Yeah, we met in college. Well, yeah, and then I had a roommate.
Roommates in college.
Roommates in college. I had roommates after college, and then I went right from a roommate to Chris.
Yeah.
Let's talk about, though, I'm interested to hear, when you were saying you met Tom and you knew, and so it was just like that was it. Was it like that thing we talked about last week where your soul was, like, on fire, like he lit you up excited?
Oh, boy. That's a good question. I can't say, like, now that I've had the experience of actually having my soul on fire.
Yeah.
No, it was not.
Okay.
But at that time, I definitely was like, this guy's cool. He's smart. He's cute.
He looks like Ted Lasso.
Right. He's got his shit together. He has a good job. I mean, when we met, he was 20 years old, about to turn 21. He was a commercial airline pilot.
Yeah. You thought you were like, damn, he's a badass.
Yeah. I'm like, this is a really cool guy who's got his shit together. So I can't say that I was looking for that soul fire thing because I didn't truly think it existed because I'd never experienced it.
Right.
And I had done a lot of dating with other guys, and I just kind of knew, like, this guy's genuine.
Yeah.
You know, solid human. He called me the day after we met. What guy does that? Most guys wait 3 days. Right. And he left me a voicemail on top of that.
Yeah, I love that.
And I was like, who is this?
Yeah. I also love that. Like, I say that a lot. Like, I love people that, like, tell you, you know right where you stand. Like, they're so confident that they can be like, I'm into you and I'm calling you the next day.
Yeah. And so there was, like, no question. We were just in it, you know? And I think that's kind of why it felt so right, because there was never any, like, push and pull with us.
I don't know if he likes me. Yeah. What's he feeling?
Not an ounce of that.
Yeah, that's unattractive.
Yeah.
Now that I'm older, it's unattractive.
I just was into it.
Yeah,
so
of course.
I now remember the day we got married. I was like, this feels like, it doesn't feel like a choice because I just know it's right.
Yeah, that's exactly how I felt.
The fact of the matter is it was right.
Totally was. I said this yesterday to someone. I would not change one thing.
It's taken me a minute to get to that perspective.
Yeah.
But, I really sit back and think about, like, how much different my life would be had I realized earlier, had I been out and all that stuff. And I'm like, I wouldn't have this life.
No,
and I love this life.
And from a unselfish perspective, the person who asked me, would I change the way I did it? They were like, would he change it? And the answer is no, he wouldn't.
Yeah, I don't think
he and I have had 1,000 conversations about it. Like, we would not change. We grew up together. Yeah. We had children. He's the perfect partner for this family we built. I don't want anyone else to do that with. Yeah. With this family.
Yeah. Like, I mean, of course there's a little bit in me that's like, oh, that would have been nice to have, like, met someone, like a woman, and fallen in love, and we could have had kids. But would I have Kaylin and Brecken in that case? Those are the only kids I want, you know?
You could still have another baby.
Oh no, I'm good.
You're tapped out.
I'm tapped out.
Uncle.
At 43. Leave me alone.
I just met a woman who's 50 and had a baby and got whatever you do to have a baby and had it. I actually don't know her well. She's a friend of a friend, but I did meet her. Wow. She's 50 and has a brand new baby.
Wow. See,
and she's doing it by herself.
And she's doing it alone.
Alone.
Oh, wow, that's awesome. I do know a few people that have had kids alone, like straight women.
Yeah.
And I think that's amazing. Like, don't wait.
No, we're doing it. When we have them, we're alone.
Right.
Like, what's the difference?
I mean, but we do have a little help. In that case,
true.
If you're having it with, like, a sperm donor or something, you don't have help.
You're right. And like, there's no break in sight versus like,
I don't know how people do it that have their kids 100% of the time.
Plenty of people
More
do.
power to you.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I do need a breather sometimes. Like, my kids are great. They're super sweet, all the things. But damn, sometimes I'm just like, can I just check out for a moment?
I know. Yeah, no, everybody feels that way with kids. Come on.
I know.
So that's fair. So, okay, so back to you. Now you feel like you're sold. But you really had that.
I have experienced that. But I've also experienced with a woman where it wasn't like soul fire. But I was like, oh, but this person's cool and nice. Like, I want to try to make this work.
Or not make it work, but could you ever like slow burn it until maybe there's something there? Like that woman said, where she was just like, this person's completely not my type, not the person I ever dreamed I'd be with. And now I'm madly in love with them and we're engaged.
Yeah, maybe.
Like
maybe.
Because maybe it's like we haven't, to her point, like so far what we've picked hasn't worked.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like his soul fire.
Because do you feel like you've had soul fire?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had it with Chris though too.
You did?
Yeah. But I had it with not the same way, but I definitely, like, we sat on our first date for 7 hours. I could have talked to him forever.
I mean, same with Tom. We talked all the time about everything. But it's like that sexual tension, that excitement.
Yeah, maybe I don't remember that.
Where you like feel it in your fucking body.
Right.
Never felt that.
No, the only time I've had that for Chris, but I remember in college having this boyfriend who lived in a frat house. Mm-hmm. And so we would like be at his fraternity parties and then we'd end up, obviously I'd stay over there. And he had this like, you know, the beds that are like Like they have it's not a bed, it's like a loft, and he was on top.
Yeah.
So you climb the ladder
like
up
the dorm
into the
room
loft.
Beds.
It's like the dorm room bed, but he was in a fraternity house.
Okay.
So it's also disgusting, dirty.
Oh, tell me about it.
We would be like dancing, wasted, and then climbing up into the loft. But in the loft, he had like a curtain of sorts, but you're like tight in there because the
so
loft,
it was like a little like RV capsule.
it's like an RV capsule, and the ceiling is like, you got maybe 24 to, I don't know how many inches.
You can't sit all
the way up, so you're like really close. But I remember being like hot for this guy. So that maybe I was kind of
how much alcohol was involved in this?
Alcohol, sexy dancing.
That is just it. That's what I realized is like, yes, I can get there with a lot of alcohol involved with the man. Like, yeah.
But could I still at this age? Like, I don't know.
Sober? No way. No way.
Yeah.
Woman sober? Yes, sign me up. No problem.
Yeah.
So I
but then is
dissected
it
a
like,
lot of
is
this.
that, could I be a little, because there's plenty of lesbian women who would be like, I would never fucking be into that.
But that's where the spectrum of sexuality comes in. You know, like there are some women that are just hardcore lesbians.
Yeah.
That like nothing for a man.
But I wonder, had they been at the frat party grinding with this guy, and then
if they had an opportunity to sleep in the loft bed. God, that reminds me when I was in college. I think I only stayed in a frat house like one night.
Oh my God, I was always in the frat house.
No, this was enough for me. Okay. This guy's bedroom was in the fucking kitchen.
Oh God.
I remember there was literally like a kitchen sink next to the bed.
No.
I was also underage, extremely drunk, and I puked in a cooler.
What?
Yes.
That's nothing sexier than that.
I know, right? I don't think we did.
Why weren't you like at IU, at Indiana? There was always like, that's where you went.
There wasn't that many fraternities in my college. Okay. And I was not in a sorority. Did you do a sorority? No. Yeah, there was only like, I think 3 frats and 3 sororities.
I almost did,
I was like,
but
I don't want to limit myself here. It's already a small school.
No.
So yeah, I don't think I dated any like fraternity guys. No, wait, yeah, I did. I don't know. God,
anyway,
so long
bottom
ago.
line is I was way in.
It was so long ago.
So then I was like, maybe I was a little into guys.
I mean, this is the thing that I've said a few times is like, I can make out with a guy. I don't know that I really could today, like how I feel now, and now that I've done a little bit more work. But I've realized like I can find a man attractive and want to kiss him.
Right.
But where my anxiety came in was when other stuff came into play. And I'm like, that I don't want to do.
You don't want to give blowjobs. That's what
not.
What I hear you say is you don't want to give blowjobs.
I don't want to give blowjobs. And that was another epiphany moment for me when I was like, wait, if I'm gay, I never have to give another blowjob.
Wait, what?
What? Yeah. And I'm like, where's the paperwork? Where do I sign?
That reminds me though of, I think I've told this story before, but I remember one time we were driving I think I was driving to New Orleans with Chris and then this couple friends that were like really close to. So it was me and the wife in the back seat and the husband's in the front. And we were watching the L Word in the back and like the guys were driving. And I was like saying how I could be down with this. Like even to the guys, I'm like, I think I'm into women, guys. Like this is happening right now. And the husband was like, dude, I know you. Like there's no way you're going down on someone. I know you. You're not. And I remember like it pissed me off. I'm like, why?
Watch me.
Watch me. But also it was also like, dude, why you go down on people? Why is it like cool for you? But it's like, I can't do it.
Right.
You know me, I can't do it, but you can do it.
Challenge accepted.
Challenge accepted. And I'm kind of into your wife.
I know. Like, pull over.
Exactly. Pull this thing over. Anyway, but I remember thinking like that annoyed the shit out of me. Like he was prescribing on me his hetero thing.
Yeah.
And I remember saying like right back to him, I'm like, but you can.
Yeah.
Like it's fine for you.
Yeah.
But like I can't do it somehow.
Right.
And he's like, you just would be grossed out. I know you. I'm like, you must not know me that well then. Clearly you didn't know me that well.
I know. Like, did he call you after you came out?
No, I mean,
or did you call him and be like, see?
By the way.
Watch me. Oh my God.
I wonder if there are lesbian couples though, because I have plenty of friends. My best friend, I won't say her name, but she will not give a blowjob, period. If she's like, it's demeaning. Really? I'm not going down on him. It's fucking demeaning. I'm not fucking doing it.
Wow.
And I like admire the shit out of her. It's like her hard line.
That was an option to say that?
Yeah. She's like, I'm not doing it. It's demeaning. So then I'm like, well, do some women feel that way?
I don't know.
Like, have you ever heard somebody say, like, I'm just not going to do it?
Yeah,
it's
there's
demeaning.
some people that don't give back.
Well, wouldn't you be like, what am I doing here?
But there's women that want that side too.
What?
Yeah. It's a whole thing. To each their own, but
you
I don't want to sign
be
up
with
for
somebody.
it.
You want to be with somebody who doesn't want
Some
to.
people want that, yeah.
Or
they've
see
had
that
trauma.
perspective, or they have had trauma. But do they not want the person? Like, do they feel like they want to just do everything? And
some people, it's like it's a turn on enough for them to just be giving that they don't need to receive.
Please come on the show. DM us.
DM us.
DM us ASAP.
I mean, I haven't been in these situations. I don't know the ins and outs, but I just know that these people exist.
Okay, very well.
So, but yeah, for me, I'm like, nope. It's going both ways here.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't have to be that way like every time.
No, God, no.
But yeah.
You're like, it doesn't have to be that
But TikTok,
way.
motherfucker. It's been a few weeks.
I remember that being like a thing where it was never my relationship. It was always like both. Everybody did everything, but I do feel like there was like pressure on me sometimes to feel like if I couldn't, like if I was stressed or I had work or I was like whatever. I remember sometimes having the feeling of like, just let me just.
I gotta
do this.
tap out.
Yeah, I'm tapping out.
Gotta tap out. It's getting late. This isn't happening.
It's 10:30.
I mean, it's 8:30.
It's 8:30.
The sun's going down.
By the end, you know how they like your sex drive is supposed to go down. Mine has definitely got.
I was going to say mine is way more.
It's way more.
Like I'm like a teenager right now.
I know. So is that?
But I
like
also
our
haven't
hormones?
hooked up in a long time,
Okay.
so I'm like, kill me now.
Okay, let me ask you a really personal question.
Okay, what time code are we at so I can cut this? No.
Do you masturbate?
Yeah.
Okay, wow. I can't believe my friend came clean.
I know. Well, I mean, it's been several months.
Still, lots of women go their whole lives.
I would be like,
what's the matter with you?
Because I know what it's like. A lot of people go their whole lives because they haven't had the right things. I've had the right things.
Yeah, so now you got to.
It's like I've tasted the nectar or something.
I had a friend once who said she couldn't do that because she's like, it's like tickling yourself. You can't make yourself laugh. Like it's not ticklish.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. No.
Clearly.
Well, now you have to answer the question.
That's none of your business.
Oh my God! Shut the fuck up. That's a yes. 1,000%.
Let's just say, like, I know myself so well. I'm very good at myself.
Oh, you're a masturbator.
I'm professional. You might want to scratch this in case my kids listen.
Oh no, God!
Actually, my kids would be like, of course, like you should be.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Actually, I just bought some books for my daughter to kind of like learn more about like puberty and all this stuff. Like, found some like really up-to-date books.
Right.
Not the flyer that my mom gave me that was published in like
my mom gave me
1972.
nothing.
So, well, this might have been nothing because
Yeah.
it did not explain anything.
No.
And I had friends that wanted to tell me all the things
Oh, of course.
that were not true.
That were not true. I'm sure I've told you guys this, but back when I was I guess it would have been grade school, but one of my friend's mom had this like very sterile looking vibrator. It looked like the shape of a dick, but it was like a vibrator.
I think I remember this story.
And we
but
would
keep
pass
going.
it around.
I can't believe
We
this.
would put a sock on it. I'm not kidding. We would put a sock on it and literally pass it around. I think that's when my crush on Heather started.
I would think so. How old were you?
Little, like at her house. Like I remember none of us were embarrassed. Like we
This
just
sounds
sat
a little
there.
traumatic.
It was not traumatic. It was a great memory from my childhood.
Little like 10?
Everybody wanted to be at Carrie Kaito's house.
Of course they did. Jesus Christ.
No, I was probably in, I don't know, maybe 7th grade.
Okay. That makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah.
But I cannot imagine doing any of that with my friends at that age.
Passing it around. Like there was probably 6 of us. I wonder if she remembered.
Like in front of each other?
In front of each other.
This is wild to me.
I know. It's wild to me now. Like I'm
Like-
like, do my kids do this? No, it wasn't like we were checking each other out. It was more like her being like, holy shit, you guys, look what I found. This is trust
Was this
me.
like to completion?
I don't remember that deep. I just remember all of us loving it and being way into it.
Oh my God, that's so interesting.
I wish I was still friends with these women because I would definitely be like, do you all remember the tube socks?
And they'd
the
be like,
vibrator?
what?
They'd be like, wait.
This was all a manifestation in your
I know,
mind.
right? No.
We did not do anything like that, but it was definitely like my friends made it sound like they were all having sex. in middle school.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And
I never did it till high school.
Same.
Yeah.
But we would definitely have boys come over, like take them in the bedroom, make out,
same.
do stuff like that. And I look back and I'm just like, we were way too young.
I know. I don't know that, like, I think about like Reed, who's girl crazy. He's 13. He hasn't had any opportunities that I can think of.
You never know, man.
I know. They find it.
Never know. Because we were going in the woods.
I know. We were doing it all too.
All
You're
sorts
right.
of stuff.
You're right.
So,
out of mine, he would be the one.
you think so?
Yeah.
Do you talk to him about that stuff?
I bring it up all the time.
Yeah.
But he's just like...
I know. He's at the age where you're an idiot and he's not going to
But
listen
the
to
other
anything.
kids told me everything.
Yeah.
When it happened, what happened, the whole thing.
What if Owen talked to him about it? You think
Well, they're so different because Owen's
that's
not
true.
a bro.
Bro. Does Reed bro you?
He does bro me.
Yeah.
I don't think though that I don't know. Chris, I think talks to him about
That's
it.
good.
It's
Okay.
fine.
I know,
We have
that's
a
the
lot of
thing.
sex talks.
And I think that's so important. Like
Yeah.
my parents did not do that for me. Although I probably would have died, but
Yeah. I think it's not necessarily that I want to. It's more just like Tatum.
oh,
Like
really?
she is so out there with her
Yeah.
escapades and her.
Do you think that your kids would freak out right now if they knew we were talking about this on the podcast?
I think they would just roll their eyes and be like, "Oh my God, Mom!" Like, wow.
Well, I will circle back to the fact that my daughter has said, "Mom, no one's thinking about you as much as you
I know
think they are."
exactly. What's the thing? I don't think about you at all.
Right? I don't think about you at all.
When I think about you, I don't think about you at all.
Yep, that's exactly what my kid hit me with. So, yeah, I'm thinking about it. But I'm thinking about it from the perspective of like I said, I was very uninformed and thought everybody was having sex. They weren't. And I don't want her growing up thinking the same thing and that she needs to like move faster.
No,
do any of these
I think
things.
also like to the credit of my friends in 7th and 8th grade who taught
how to
me
use
that.
a vibrator.
Like, I guess too, like I went into my sexuality with a knowledge of what it should feel like. And I do feel like that it's good data. Like it's
That's
like,
interesting.
I don't want my daughter having sex with somebody and being like, this is it.
Yeah.
Like that, I think happens all the time.
Dude, that's exactly how I felt the first time I had sex.
Right.
I
It's
was
like they should
what?
know this guy sucks.
Yeah.
So you're going to show him what feels good. Mm-hmm. Because otherwise, why are we doing it?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think the same thing about the boys. Like eventually Reed's too little, but like at some point, I hope someone like his men's orgasms should not be prioritized over women's orgasms.
Oh my God. This is another thing that we talked about. Maybe since we're getting close to the needing to wrap up.
Okay.
But remember I texted you the other day about how one of the reasons why I think I didn't explore this side of myself was because there's so much shame around females enjoying sex.
Yes.
Like
it's a whole thing. It's like your whole life. You're programmed to just like,
if you like sex, you're a slut.
You're a total slut.
Like if you have multiple partners, you're a slut.
Yeah.
All these things. But boys,
no,
they can be whacking off doing all these things, hooking up with all these women, and it's like celebrated.
I totally agree.
And I think that really kept me, and it kind of brought me back to that conversation that we used to have episodes ago about how coming out is like telling your grandma your favorite sexual position.
It is. It's telling your grandma.
Because that's where everybody's brain goes.
Yeah.
And when you're saying that you're a lesbian or you're bisexual,
you're a freak.
You're a freak.
You're a sexual freak.
You're a sexual
deviant. You're a sexual deviant.
That's all people think about.
I know.
You know, it doesn't matter that like, oh, you're going to feel like so much better in yourself and you're finally going to have a healthy relationship and healthy love that you really feel good about.
Right.
Like, none of that matters.
Nope. It
is deviance.
You're just a deviant slut.
So we can go more into that.
Yeah,
in another
it's
episode,
so true though. And the prioritizing boys enjoying it. Like
Yeah.
you wouldn't see a boy go to bed with a woman and be like, it's fine for him not to get off.
Right. When does that ever happen?
Never.
I mean, it is easier for them. Like the wind blows and they're okay.
I know. I do, but I think it's easier for them because mentally they're
not having all the
they
hurdles.
don't have the hang-ups.
That's true.
Yeah, it's like all my brakes are on because I was taught to have all my brakes on.
Yes. Oh my God.
So it's like I think it could have been maybe great for me.
Yeah. That's wild.
Yeah. Anyway, that's a whole episode.
Wow. Well,
we better get this
mind's blown.
Mind blown. We better get this party started.
I know.
It's Friday night.
It's Friday night. We've got great group of people coming over.
Yes, we do.
We're going to have a good night.
We sure are. All right. Well, it's been a pleasure, and I will talk to you soon.
All right.
Bye.
Want to support the Lesbian Chronicles podcast? Rate us and write a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify.
We love listener feedback. If you'd like to share your story, email us at melissaandalli@gmail.com. That's Melissa, MELISA, and Alli, ALLI, @gmail.com. Or follow us on Instagram at Lesbian Chronicles.